From translation, NIV New International Version. This 48th day of the year. Today we are reading passages Numbers 14 to 15. Numbers chapter 14, verses 1 to 45. That whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. In the hearing of the whole Israelite community, they said, "If only we had died in Egypt, or in this wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us to this land only to let us fall by the sword? Our wives and children will be taken as plunder. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt?" And they said to each other, "We should choose a leader and go back to Egypt." Then Moses and Aaron fell face down in front of the whole Israelite assembly gathered there. Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had explored the land, tore their clothes, and said to the whole Israelite assembly, "The land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good. If the Lord is pleased with us, he will lead us into that land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and will give it to us. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people of the land, because we will swallow them up. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them." But the whole assembly talked about stoning them. Then the glory of the Lord appeared at the tent of meeting to all the Israelites. The Lord said to Moses, "How long will these people treat me with contempt? How long will they refuse to believe in me, in spite of all the signs I have performed among them? I will strike them with a plague and destroy them, but I will make you into a nation greater and stronger than they." Moses said to the Lord, "Then the Egyptians will hear about it. By what means will they know that you are pleased with me, with these people, that I have carried your people out of Egypt? You have already told me, I know you by name and you have found favor with me. If you put this people to death, as one man, then the nations that have heard of your fame will say, 'The Lord was not able to bring these people into the land he promised them on oath, so he slaughtered them in the wilderness.' Now may the Lord's strength be displayed, just as you have declared. The Lord is slow to anger, abounding in love and forgiving sin and rebellion, yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation. In accordance with your great love, forgive the sin of these people, just as you have pardoned them from the time they left Egypt until now." The Lord replied, "I have forgiven them, as you asked. Nevertheless, as surely as I live and as surely as the glory of the Lord fills the whole earth, not one of the men who saw my glory and the signs I performed in Egypt and in the wilderness and who disobeyed me and tested me 10 times, not one of them will ever see the land I promised on oath to their ancestors. Not one of those who treated me with contempt will see it. But because my servant Caleb has a different spirit and follows me wholeheartedly, I will bring him into the land he went to, and his descendants will inherit it. Since the Amalekites and the Canaanites are living in the valleys, turn back tomorrow and set out toward the desert along the route to the Red Sea." The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "How long must I put up with this wicked community that is complaining against me? I have heard the complaints of these people, which are directed against me. Tell them, 'As surely as I live, declares the Lord, I will do to you the very things I heard you say. In this wilderness your bodies will fall, every one of you 20 years old or more who was counted in the census, and who has grumbled against me. Not one of you will enter the land I swore with uplifted hand to make your home, except Caleb son of Jephunneh and Joshua son of Nun. As for your children that you said would be taken as plunder, I will bring them in to enjoy the land you will reject. They will enter the land, and you will discourage them from entering the land that I have sworn to make them dwell in. And your children will be shepherds here for 40 years, suffering for your unfaithfulness, until the last of your bodies lies in the wilderness. For 40 years, 1 year for each of the 40 days you explored the land, you will suffer for your sins and know what it is like to oppose me. I, the Lord, have spoken, and I will surely do these things to this whole wicked community, which has banded together against me. So here in this wilderness they will come to a full end, and there they will die." So the men Moses had sent to explore the land, who returned and made the whole community grumble against him by spreading a bad report about it. These men who were responsible for spreading the bad report about the land were struck down with a plague from the Lord. Of the men who went to explore the land, only Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh survived. When Moses reported all this to the Israelites, they mourned bitterly. Early the next morning they went up toward the hilltop, saying, "We have sinned, we will go up to the place the Lord promised." But Moses said, "Why are you going against the Lord's command? This will not succeed. Do not go up, because the Lord is not with you. You will be defeated by your enemies, for the Amalekites and the Canaanites will face you there. Because you have turned away from the Lord, he will not be with you and you will fall by the sword." Nevertheless, in their presumption they went up toward the high hill country, though neither Moses nor the ark of the Lord's covenant moved from the camp. Then the Amalekites and the Canaanites who lived in that hill country came down and attacked them and beat them down all the way to Hormah. Numbers chapter 15, verses 1 to 41. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, After you enter the land I am giving you as a home, and you present food offerings to the Lord, whether burnt offerings or sacrifices, for special vows or freewill offerings, as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, then the person making the offering is to present to the Lord a grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil. With each offering of a bull or a ram you are to present a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil. With each offering of a lamb, you are to present a grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil. As a drink offering, present a 1/4 of a hin of wine with each lamb. With each bull, prepare a drink offering of 1/3 of a hin of wine. With each ram, prepare 1/3 of a hin of wine. When you bring a grain offering of new grain to the Lord, offer it as the best of your first fruits, but do not offer any of it as a grain offering offered on the altar that is burning with fire. Include with each bull a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil. With each ram, include 2/10 of an ephah. With each lamb, include 1/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil, and a drink offering of a 1/4 of a hin of wine. Offer each bull or ram or lamb 1 year old without defect as a food offering to the Lord. The grain offering with it is to be of the finest flour mixed with olive oil. Offer 2/10 of an ephah with a bull, 1/10 with a ram, and with each lamb, a grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil. Also provide a drink offering of wine, a 1/4 of a hin with each lamb. This food offering, a pleasing aroma to the Lord, is to be offered with each sacrifice. Everyone, whether native-born or foreigner, presents the same food offering as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you enter the land to which I am taking you and you eat the food of the land, present a portion as an offering to the Lord. Present a cake from the first of your ground meal, and present it as an offering from the threshing floor. Throughout the generations to come, you are to give this portion to the Lord from the first of your ground meal." Now if you as a community unintentionally fail to keep any of these commands the Lord gave Moses, any of the Lord's commands through him to you from the day he gave them and continuing through the generations to come, and if the community does as it must, presenting a food offering and a sin offering for the sin they committed unintentionally, then the priest is to make atonement for the whole community of Israel, and they will be forgiven. Because it was unintentional, and they have brought to the Lord for their sin a food offering and a sin offering. The whole community of Israel and the foreigners residing among them will be forgiven, because all the people were involved in the unintentional sin. If any one of you sins unintentionally without knowing it, but then does what is required in the law, the priest is to make atonement before the Lord for everyone who erodes by mistake what must not be done, and does not realize it until later. An ordinance for all time throughout your generations, wherever you live, you must present a food offering as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. But anyone who sins defiantly, whether native-born or foreigner, blasphemes the Lord and must be cut off from among the people. Because they have despised the Lord's word and broken his commands, they must surely be cut off. Their guilt remains on them. While the Israelites were in the wilderness, a man was found gathering wood on the Sabbath day. Those who found him gathering wood brought him to Moses and Aaron and the whole assembly, and they kept him in custody, because it was not clear what should be done to him. Then the Lord said to Moses, "The man must die. The whole assembly must stone him outside the camp." So the assembly took him outside the camp and stoned him to death, as the Lord commanded Moses. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, throughout the generations to come you are to make tassels on the corners of your garments, with a blue cord on each tassel. You will have these tassels to look at, and so you will remember all the commands of the Lord, that you may obey them and not prostitute yourselves by chasing after the lusts of your own hearts and eyes. Then you will remember to obey all my commands and will be consecrated to your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God."